Hello everybody, it is the Law Gnome and welcome back to another Funko Pop update. We are now officially in March of 2025 and we're literally approaching St. Patrick's Day, so I'm hoping to all of you who celebrate or those of you that just want to get your Irish on, enjoy yourselves and more importantly, be safe. So today I'm coming to you with a very interesting introduction because of the fact that a couple of weeks ago, Funko announced some very good news, and that was the fact that their sales in 2024 were some of the best that they have seen in a very long time. And that is, to a certain degree, a surprise, but also to a certain degree, not a surprise. For me personally, it's not a surprise that they saw such wonderful numbers in 2024, and that's just based on my own personal purchasing and my love for this product. It's the fact that they have officially dived deep into their archives and they're taking a look at a lot of licenses and properties that they never turned into Funko Pops that they were able to acquire. That's number one. And number two is the fact that they're taking a look at some lines that they know many people find to be wonderful and popular, and they finally took some opportunities to either extend their lines or bring them out from a long retirement or a long blackout period and give them a much needed facelift. And one of the few things that I know is, based on my purchasing in 2025, I'm there for all of them because they definitely dipped back into some of the childhood favorites. There's going to be some brand new lines in the world of Nickelodeon. There's a official common Fairly Odd Parents. I know a lot of people were very excited for the con exclusive pack that's now very hard to come by, but now people who love that show are finally getting their official commons, which are going to be easy to find. And not just that, they even went back into Cartoon Network. We're going to be getting things like The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and we're getting one that I'm very excited for because I've already made my pre-order. They're finally giving us an Ed, Edd and Eddy line. I loved that show so dearly, and I can't wait to have them in my collection. And they opened up the Batman animated series line. We're finally getting an official Wave 3. After Wave 2, we got a couple of exclusives here and there, including a LA Comic-Con exclusive of Two-Face, but the fact that we're getting an official common line, which includes my favorite villain. I am so excited to finally have a Batman animated series Riddler in my collection, and even after this wave, which is still relatively small, they still have a whole bunch of characters that they haven't given us yet. We still don't have a Penguin, we still don't have a Mad Hatter, we still don't have a Harvey Bullock or a Renee Montoya or an actual regular Alfred or Commissioner Gordon. We need them. We need to have them in the Batman animated series line, but if they want to expand for a Wave 4, then please do so. And I'm also very excited for some of the other announcements that are waiting in the wings. We also have been told that they're planning to remaster and add to Firefly, which is one of the first collections that I ever purchased. So knowing that we're going to be getting some more characters, long-awaited characters, makes me very excited. And also, they've even dipped back into true childhood. We're going to be getting some remastered Peanuts. I already mentioned a Lucy taking away the football from Charlie Brown, but there's more on the way, which makes me very excited. And if you saw the thumbnail from my last video, they announced a Barney and Friends line, which is something I'm surprised took them so long to make. And even the announcement and pre-ordering of Lamb Chop. I mean, I loved Sherry Lewis. She was such an icon, and knowing that we're going to be getting her creation, Lamb Chop, makes me so, so happy. And even fans of Disney stuff, there's a long-awaited line that's finally been announced, and it's up for pre-order now. If you're a Kim Possible fan, you're finally getting your Kim Possible Pops. Not to mention more Muppets Pops and Sesame Street Pops. So they're really diving into what made the Funko Pop the prized collector's item for so many people. And that's wonderful. So that's also why their numbers are so good, and based on everything that I'm hearing and things that are already being announced, I'm just anticipating 2025 to be a stronger year for Funko, even though they're not as vocal as they used to be. There's not much on social media. A lot of stuff is being shared through social media, through the community who loves these products. And the good thing is that their actions are speaking louder than their words, and the numbers show it. The one thing that I'm not too thrilled about is the word bubble pops. I mean, I remember the very first one that they announced, and it was a Mary Jane Watson, but I think they're going a little over the top with them because I have one, and it's the Kite Man, because you really can't have a Kite Man pop without the word bubble. But the fact that they're now trying to make a whole bunch of them for the purposes of just repurposing old lines, like, I know that they just announced a brand new Kiss line, and each and every one of them has a word bubble featuring the lyrics for Rock and Roll All Night. To me, I can see people getting excited about them, especially people who don't have Kiss Pops. They were some of the first that got made, and I still remember the first ones. God, they're so ugly. And when they made their first recreations and resculptings, I picked up that line. But they have done, like, different colors and different poses, and now that they're doing word bubbles, I'm just like, okay, the only people that are going to buy this are the people that don't have Kiss Pops in their collections and are Kiss fans. I was originally going to buy a Hal Jordan Green Lantern pop saying Green Lantern's Light, and I decided not to get it because I just realized I didn't really need it. I mean, no, I don't have a Hal Jordan pop in my collection. It would be great to have a Hal Jordan pop in my collection, but you know, maybe if they made a comic cover of Green Lantern Rebirth, that would be a good one for me to have, or maybe a Blackest Night cover, because there's still so many DC comic covers that they haven't made. I mean, I'm still waiting on my Flash Comics #1 with Jay Garrick running at the speed of sound, a DC Showcase 5, which features the very first Barry Allen, just a thought, possibly even the first cover of Flashpoint, which features Barry Allen in that torn costume. That would be pretty cool too. There's so many other things that they can play with, and clearly I want Flash Pops. But anyway, that's enough of this. Let's talk about how my collection has been going. Today's collection update, for me personally, is a very exciting one because it's something that I am truly passionate about, and that is saving and preserving classics. I mean, it's crazy to say that we live in a world now where we classify things from the 80s and 90s and even to a certain degree the early 2000s as classics. But because of the fact that we do it, and that's no knock to everybody, I kind of feel that we are forgetting about the true classics, things from all the way back to the 1920s when film was just in its infancy. And knowing about some of the greatest films and television shows from the 50s all the way to the late 1960s, early 1970s. I mean, I am someone who still has cable, and through my cable provider, I discovered the channels MeTV Toons and Catchy Comedy, where I can now watch old cartoons and old sitcoms that are from everywhere from the 50s all the way to the 80s. And knowing that these channels exist, knowing that I now have a almost 3-year-old daughter who one day I would love to sit down and show her all of these truly great things that gave us everything that built up to what we have today. So I'm glad to know that Funko is also seeing that and tries to make Funko Pops out of these truly classic and iconic films, television shows, and characters. I mean, right now I'm proud to say that I have some Looney Tunes Pops. I have Hanna-Barbera Pops like the Jetsons and Johnny Quest and the Flintstones, knowing that I have characters in pop form like Felix the Cat, or El Kabong, or Popeye, Woody Woodpecker. These are important. That's all I'm going to say. They're important, and so are these two new additions to my collection. The first one is a pop that I gotta be honest, guys, they should have made this one a very long time ago. I remember when their t-shirt line was coming out, and they actually put this one on a t-shirt, and this, of course, is the legendary icon. I don't even want to call him an actor. He's an icon. He is a legend, still living in film, and that is the great Charlie Chaplin. I first discovered the whole concept of his character, the Tramp, which is what we're featured here in this pop today, from Sesame Street, where Maria actually dressed up like Charlie Chaplin and taught kids about things like stop and go, entrance and exit, you know? So the fact that they tried to incorporate Charlie Chaplin into teaching kids about things like opposites is wonderful. And this is a great pop. I mean, they got everything great. And I love the fact that they made it in black and white, too, because that's how you saw him. I mean, unless you saw the Robert Downey Jr. film Chaplin, where he actually played Charlie Chaplin beautifully, this is great. I mean, the details on the shriveled-up coat, his baggy pants, his pointy shoes, and even his ratty cane, and, you know, when you take a look at Charlie Chaplin on the films, I love the fact that they do have the shadows around his eyes as they did that for the effects on the screen. I love this pop. This is a perfect incarnation of Charlie Chaplin. And when you turn it around, I mean, the hair is scraggly, just like it should be. I also love the bowler hat, as well as the back, and that he's got his hand in his pocket. This is Charlie Chaplin, and the fact that Funko went out of their ways to give us a Charlie Chaplin Funko Pop gives us the opportunity to preserve him. I mean, the box says it all. I love the classic look in his name, like the old neon lights of Hollywood. And on the back, you actually do have himself on the box, so you can compare him to the pop. And I also love on the box that you see scenes from his classic movies, which is very, very important. So, a very important pop to have out there. I say to everybody, if you don't want to watch his movies, that's fine, but get this pop. This is an important one, guys, as is the second one. So, it took me a very long time. It wasn't until I was in college when I finally saw this classic film, the 1952 classic Singing in the Rain. I always knew that it was an important film, starring the greats Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, and Donald O'Connor. Always knew the song. I mean, I never saw the movie, but I knew the song Singing in the Rain. And when I finally saw this movie, I couldn't believe how charming and fun and entertaining it was. And now it's one of my go-to films when I'm ever in a bad mood. I mean, this movie just gives me pure, unadulterated joy. And I love this Don Lockwood pop, which is the Gene Kelly character, in his iconic scene of Singing in the Rain, where he is swinging from the light stand in the rain. And I love the fact that they even capture the rain on the streets. It's such a wonderful detail. I can't say it enough. But Gene Kelly's character of Don Lockwood in the pop is great too. Like, you could, I don't know how it would have looked if he actually had a smile on his face, but that's also part of the charm of this scene. But the way that his eyes look, and that pretty much says it's as if he has a smile on his face. I love the details on the hat. I love the details on the trench coat, of course, on the umbrella. We'll just turn it around a little bit so we can get a look at the backs of his shoes, as well as the back of his trench coat. And also, the details on the light post are great, too. All the way over here. Beautifully done. This is a great Funko Pop as well, and also a very important Funko Pop. And I will also say that if you have never seen Singing in the Rain, what are you waiting for? You have to see this movie. You will absolutely love it. All of you Wicked fans out there, people who love the movie musical and haven't seen some of the classic movie musicals like Singing in the Rain, Mary Poppins, The Wizard of Oz, or even one of my personal favorites, The Music Man, what are you doing? Okay? Because you wouldn't have Wicked if it wasn't for Singing in the Rain, amongst others. And knowing that Funko, again, acknowledges classics, because that's what these are. These are iconic, classic characters in film and actors in film. So the fact that we actually now have these two specific people in pop form brings joy to my heart, and these are two pops that I am proud to have in my collection, and I will cherish them, and when my daughter is old enough to appreciate entertainment, film, and television, I'm going to teach her about these guys. And I'm going to make sure that she knows about their work and sees their work. Because we need to keep these iconic men and women alive in our entertainment, and in our thoughts, and more importantly, in our hearts. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave a comment in the box below. Let me know some of your purchases or some of your anticipated pops in the month of March. Let me know if I missed anything. What are you most excited for? And I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.